A big weekend in college football as well. Not so much locally here. Curious to see how Michigan State responds at Illinois, and curious, obviously, to see what kind of game Michigan will play on the road at Rutgers. But outside of the local teams, Bray, this is a huge weekend in college football. You're talking Clemson at Notre Dame, Alabama at LSU, and the big one versus 3, Georgia and Tennessee.
Yeah, the LSU game is very intriguing. LSU and Alabama, I don't think LSU should be number 10 in the country, but that's the power vacuum. The SEC always gets rated higher, so their games get all more value, which means they sneak more teams into the Final Four. So we know there's a level of that. But it seems as though the quarterback Jaden Daniels for LSU, seems like he's responded well in the last couple games. They've had some big wins, be it Ole Miss and Jackson Dart, be it against Florida and Anthony Richardson. They look to be the part there at LSU. Brian Kelly seems to be getting them back on track. And then you look at Tennessee and Georgia. That's the one. Tennessee, number 1 team in the country. Georgia, number 3 team in the country, according to the college football playoff. Georgia's been number 1 for a very long time. They're coming off reigning, defending national championship. That's who they are. They are the champs until you knock them off. But Hendon Hooker, we've been talking about him all year. You've been talking about him for a very long time now, transfer out of Virginia Tech. Is he really the guy? I mean, you look at it like this. When's the last time a team that wasn't Georgia, it wasn't Alabama, it wasn't one of those two, when's the last time you had a team in the regular season knock off 2-1 seeds?
Yeah.
Because they beat Alabama already at home. Then this would be Georgia. Georgia's another number 1 seed, depending on the polling that you look at. They definitely were number 1 at some time this year for a large part of this year. So you're talking about a team knocking off Georgia and Alabama within 4 weeks of each other. That says a lot about Tennessee, and that makes them a very feared team if they do, in fact, get that done. Clemson and Notre Dame, I'm not too much paying attention to, but just to see if Notre Dame gets lucky, because Clemson's not that good.
That's the game I want to talk about. That's the game Michigan fans should be paying attention to, because you got to root for Notre Dame this week. You got to. Root for Notre Dame to upset Clemson. Clemson, see you later. You got a clear path to get to the 4.
The good thing about it, too, is whoever loses between Tennessee and Georgia, Michigan's going to jump them as well.
Maybe.
No, they'll jump them, even though it's 1 versus 2, and I get that. It's still a loss, and it's early. They'll still have Michigan jump them as well, I believe.
I'm so intrigued by this Tennessee team. We could pick them game by game.
Look at Alabama.
But this Tennessee-Georgia game, I'm trying to figure out what you want to have happen as well. Are you rooting for chaos? Are you rooting for a clear path? Because if Georgia just completely blows out Tennessee, you might be okay there, because then you most likely have Georgia, Alabama in the SEC championship game. Winner goes. Yeah. Maybe the loser even goes to the college football playoff. But you almost need a blowout in this game for Tennessee to be totally eliminated. If Tennessee wins this game, you could potentially have some serious chaos in the college football playoff. You could have Tennessee with 1 loss. You could have Georgia with 1 loss, right. And then if Alabama beat Tennessee in an SEC championship game, you could have total anarchy. I mean, with 3 1-loss SEC teams, if I'm getting it all correctly, without the benefit of having a screen in front of me.
But you're getting it correct.
I love Tennessee. It's a great story, but I'm almost rooting for a Georgia blowout in this one, because I think Tennessee's offense is the most dangerous offense in the country. And I, as a Michigan fan who my expectation is to be in the playoff, that is one team I don't want any part of. I want no part of Tennessee at all.